Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and it's time for our day one patch review, which saw 25 nerfs, 2 standard nerfs, a wild nerf go live. We saw the class rework and Discover and Death Knight, all the craziness. And did the meta change? Did a lot happen? I don't know about that. We're going to talk about that. Is Naga Mage breaking the game? I'm going to go over my early impressions, the community, look at some data, talk about all the different modes because we played standard, wild, duels, and arena all day one on my stream. And before we get into all that, just a friendly reminder, we're just less than 700 subs away from 69,420. And it would be awfully nice if we could hit that goal for our next big giveaway. And it's my birthday in a couple days on April 30th. And all douchebag Zeddy wants for his birthday is for you to hit that sub button. So yes, this was an early on tweet from when the day one patch went live. Fino, not happy about Naga Mage getting buffed. There's even a clip of him kind of losing it. But overall, Naga Mage, at least from my play experience, I had Meaty, I talked to him, he rated our stream, he tried the deck a bunch, a lot of other people played it. It just doesn't seem good. Like you could do this big blowout, right? Cheat a bunch of mana, get Nagas on the board, but you don't have the greatest spells to remove, gain tempo back. I'm just struggling to, I pop off with Bite Lash, but I don't win the game after. I don't really do, it just feels like I do a lot, but don't really win or set up anything all that impactful. The game's evolved a lot since that deck wasn't even top tier like a year ago. So much more stuff is in the game that's more powerful, and the numbers are kind of showing. If we take a look at HSC replay, really early numbers, you're gonna note it's not a lot different than what we saw before the patch went live. Paladin and Deathlight still number 1 and 2, and then we have 3 classes around 50%. These have gone up a little bit more than we saw before, but Warrior, believe it or not, with -1 mana on a few cards, still doing quite poorly across all ranks. Mage is actually doing worse because people like me are playing Naga Mage, and it's not that good. And everything else just kind of feels the same. It's early on. People haven't refined stuff. I haven't seen much about like Fatigue Warlock, Overload Shaman, but I think the most telling thing is to take a look at Donkey site, where he has some stats on the day one decks. You take a look at what all the best decks are from at least people using this resource. Look at that. Frost Deathlight, 63.6% win rate. Frost Deathlight, 62.8% win rate. Undead Priest, Frost Deathlight, Outcast Demon Hunter, Triple Blood Deathlight, like it's the same decks. And this is all data taken from 26.04, the most recent patch from Diamond through Legend. Nothing else has really emerged. Like no new decks have emerged whatsoever. And I kind of had this fear going into this patch. I tweeted this before the patch went live that I'm concerned about today's patch. I'm happy to see the buffs, but not nerfing some of the mass mana cheat offenders, particularly in Demon Hunter. I'm worried the meta may worsen. I don't think it's worsened, but it's kind of just stayed the same. And historically, the greatest buffs for decks is to nerf the outliers. Slight buffs rarely do the trick. And ironically, I tweeted that like within like a few minutes or whatever. Meaty also tweeted a very similar take. And my general first impression after playing, and I watched a lot of Standard Ladder before my stream went live, and it was just like Deathlight Mirrors and Demon Hunter and Druid. A lot of Druid where you play the Tony Anubricon Jailer combo. That's more at higher legend, but that's what I was seeing. That's like who I watch, right? And my early first impressions is this may be one of the least impactful patches we've ever had. Like, it's crazy to think how many cards have changed, but how very little in standard it feels like. Deathlight, Druid, and Demon Hunter still look like they're in a tier of their own. And I mean, I guess Priest, the Undead Priest, looks like it's pretty decent. You could probably slot that in as a good option, but like, why is this happening? And the main reason is taking the triple rune discovers out is a nerf to Death Knight, but it's not major. It doesn't really affect Frost that much. Sure, they can't get another Frostworm's Fury, but they didn't really rely on that. It hurts Blood a bit more because they can't get Vampiric Blood or Soul Stealer again. But at the end of the day, you take those options out, you're more likely to get good removal or healing with other cards. Like, there's just not bad discover options in Death Knight. Like, you eliminate some of the great options, but there's still other great options, right? So it's really not struggling too badly. Like, the win rate, I don't expect on Death Knight fight to drop much, and all the new decks, all the new archetypes that we saw in Festival of Legends, they just can't compete with this stuff. And it's because the power level of the last couple years were just insane. And they're trying to like power creep the new cards to catch up, but they can't because the synergies and all of that are there. I mean, all you have to do is take a look at Warrior, and basically I'll just put my statement that I talked about Warrior on Twitter because it just reiterates how I feel about everything, is that until Warrior gets an insane win condition and or infinite value like every other slow class, like insane damage output or insane armor gain like Druid has, right? They're the armor class that can't gain armor. They're the control class, they don't have good control tools or value cards. Like it's not doing anything other than Enrage and Menagerie are playable, and they're playable. They're like 50-ish% win rate. Although I watched Brian Kibler stream a bit today. He started, I believe, around rank 700 or so legend, and by the time I stopped his stream, he was at 2300 trying to make the rifts work. But it turns out rifts, even with a mana less, are still just not that good. Especially, you know, 1 mana claw wasn't good like 10 years ago. It's not good now. But there is one place that it is good. Now I'll give a quick shout out to the arena, where if you actually draft the rifts, it's like the best card there because you can get a lot of them, chain them, and it's arena power level, right? So yeah, that's one good place it works. But overall, it's just kind of startling to see a patch with this many changes, at least from what I'm seeing. I'd love to hear your guys' take on it. I'm not seeing a lot of new stuff thrive. I see people trying it and quickly going back to the old strategies that are still just the best because they didn't really get nerfed, right? Pure Paladin didn't get nerfed. Death Knight got a minor nudge. The Frigidara nerf, the 3/6, whatever, like that's really irrelevant. Rowdy Fan, whatever, people are still just running it because it's good. Like, it's so minor. And Demon Hunter, like, Astheno's the big problem with Demon Hunter, if you're gonna ask me, like, if a car you want to dial back there. But I'm not gonna go into nerfs and stuff like that. I just want to say that, yes, there were a lot of changes, but overall, it just feels like I can't play with the new card still. I still can't play with the new cool fun stuff because I just lose, and it's not fun to lose all the time, and especially for a salty guy like me. So again, standard meta not looking like it's evolved a lot. For wild, it's a lot better. Like twig got changed. I didn't realize you can actually refresh like 20 mana with Guff, right? It's all mana. I didn't realize. I thought it was 10 crystals, but yeah, refresh the whole thing. Not having to face twig sphere, awesome, really good. Really degenerate format still, like Quest Mage, Kingsbane Rogue, all that stuff, but at least there's not like this giant blowout immediate scam like every game. So if you've been avoiding wild, it's probably the best time to play it. Now I want to say one more thing about standard, by the way. I don't even hate the meta in standard. I just want to play the new stuff, and I want to see more variety, and that's what's lacking right now. I actually on my stream later today, we're gonna play a bunch of ladder because I actually rather play that right now than any other mode. So I'm not hating the meta. I just feel like they could have done a lot more changes to get other stuff going, particular, you know, warrior mage. Like, it just, buffs don't do the trick on their own. The best thing is nerfs. I just keep saying that. And were there any big bugs or any big things like that with the patch that we've seen? No, not really. It was just a hot fix side patch. They have noted though, Deck Tech Weiss, he was asked about Haunting Nightmare, this card. It has a bunch of issues where sometimes it doesn't spawn the ghost, and he's asking if it's a known bug, one they've had trouble consistently reproducing and therefore had trouble to get a fix on. It's still on the radar, but no ET at this time. They can't figure it out. So I don't know if you could like share in their forums or on Twitter or whatever, if you have that happen to you where it just doesn't spawn, let them know the situation of what's going on. I've never seen them not be able to actually figure out a bug. So, you know, it's a little bit tricky, but these ghosts, they're spooky, they're hard to spot. So that's going on. And overall, yeah, not a ton of changes. I tried duels out and I faced Elwyn Boar right away because someone was holding it. I beat it though. But for me, duels, the big problem with that mode still is just the bucket system getting basically destroyed, and I keep drafting these terrible decks because I just get bad buckets, and it's just not nearly as fun. They haven't had new heroes, new passives, nothing for so long that if you're kind of burnt out on it like I am, I played it like crazy for like a year straight. It's not a lot bringing me back to it, even though the cards in the pool. So duels is there, and again, Elwyn Boar being banned is awesome. I'm really thankful for that. I can't get excited for duels at the moment. I think I'm just still burnt out, and not having those buckets that that we used to have where they like kind of synergize with your deck. You got decent options, just feels really bad. So that's my impressions patch review. There's no new stuff in the shop, no new features, no new modes, just the card changes for the most part. No real new bugs that I noticed. Outside of, I guess, this one, Rowdy Fan or whatever, saying that +4 attack, even though it's +3. Blizzard. That's a broken. Fix it. But let me know what you guys think about the meta yourself, what you guys were feeling. Are you upset about it? Is Deathlight still driving you crazy, or do you enjoy it? All that stuff. I will have deck recommendations tomorrow. Hopefully, I can throw some new stuff in there, but day one, it's looking pretty bleak, but people might figure some stuff out. You know, it's only the first day. We'll see how things settle, but overall, yeah, it's looking pretty samey. So look out for tomorrow's deck recommendation video. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day, and stay salty, my friends.